Welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. This is our Origins 2019 special extravaganza. Now, before we go any further, I want to point out this is obviously a very long video, which means we have timestamps in the description below, so you can just skip to whatever topic interests you. We're going to have a number of demos in this video. We're going to have some full gameplays, but that I only recorded a few rounds of. So a lot of different stuff going on here. We're also going to have a couple of different topics we're going to talk about. And one of the first ones is going to be the top 3 games that I tried out at Origins for the first time. Now, before I get into that, I do want to mention our sponsor, Board Game Co. This is a website that you can go over and you can buy all kinds of cool games. They've got hard to find games, they've got games for great prices. You can also sell them your games. If you have games in your collection that you don't want anymore and you just need some cash, sell it. You know, you get that rent money, food money, whatever you need. Also, if you're not looking for cash, you just want to build a better collection, you can trade games with them as well. So Board Game Co. lets you buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection, so be sure to check them out. There's a link in the description below. And also, these shirts, along with many of the other shirts you've seen me wear in my videos, are sold over at Mr. Meeple, and there's a coupon code in the description below for 15% off of a purchase, so be sure to go check that out as well. Okay, so without anything else, let's get right into our first topic, which is going to be my top 3 games that were new to me that I tried at Origins. Now, these are not necessarily games that are, coming out right now. These are not games that are brand new right now. These are games that were new to me that I never played before prior to going to Origins. Now, I spent a lot of time in their boardroom over there. I got the boardroom ribbon, and if you're not familiar with the boardroom, what it is there's a board game store up there that actually comes in, brings a huge collection of games. It's something like, it was hundreds of games that they bring in. They have them in these wall lockers, and you go up and you can flip through the listed games. You pick what you want. You give them your state ID. Hand them that. They hand you the game. You check it out for however long you want. You go play the game. You bring it back. Get a new game. And it just kind of goes like that. And there was such an incredible selection. There was only a few times where I went up and flipped through the book to see if they had a game that I wanted, and it wasn't there. Most of the time, if it was a game that I wanted to play, it was in that collection. So the boardroom at Origins was a ton of fun. I highly recommend some y'all doing that if that's something that you'd be interested in. If you're going to Origins in 2020, and the main reason you're going is to play games and just have constant playing time there, the boardroom is definitely something to look into. I believe it was $20 to get that ribbon. So considering how much time we spent in there, that was well worth the money. Also, Origins has something called Open Gaming. Now, I don't know if in the past maybe Open Gaming requires you to pay some money to have access to that room, but this year we just walked right in. Nobody was checking badges, nobody was checking ribbons. We just walked right on into Open Gaming, had a good time. It was, and granted, this was after the con had closed, so maybe it was just after hours. They weren't checking ribbons and stuff like that. But walk right in, it's just this room available for you to go in and sit down, play whatever games, games you'd purchased there at the con or games you brought with you to the con. So, and I should mention that in the boardroom, you were also perfectly allowed to bring in your own games and use the boardroom area to play as well. So both of those areas were fantastic to resources for you to be able to just play games while you're at Origins. So both those areas are where I've played these 3 games I'm going to talk to you about. These are my top 3 games in 3 minutes that I played for the first time at Origins. So number 3 is Terra Mystica. Now, this is a game that I had been wanting to play ever since I heard about it. I think it came out in 2013, something like that. But I just hadn't gotten around to finding a copy to play. I knew this was a game that most likely I needed to purchase because I was going to need the time to learn it before I really could get into it. I saw it on the shelf at the boardroom, but I knew there was no way I was going to sit down and spend the time to learn that game at a con. I just the amount of time I spent learning it, I'd be getting stressed out about stuff I could have been, other games I could have been playing, that sort of thing. But as we were talking about it, there was a couple there that we met that I was there with my buddy Ryan, and there was a couple there that we met that heard us talking about wanting to play Terra Mystica, and they said, well, we know how to play it. Let's get it off the shelf and let's play it. And Terra Mystica ended up being one of my absolute favorites. My eyes glazed over in the rules explanation. Then we started playing, and I started picking it up probably about a third or fourth round. I understood. I got completely crushed. But this is a game where you are, basically you're terraforming the areas around you to fit your land type. Every race in the game has a different land type that they can build on, and it's giants and all these fantasy races, and that's very, very abstracted though, and it ended up being a fantastic game, and I really want to play it again. I just don't know how well I could teach it, so that's the problem, and it's not a one-player game. I gotta have multiple players. Number 2 is Terraforming Mars. Everybody knows what Terraforming Mars is. Finally got my hands on it, finally got to play it. This game was so cool, so thematic, really, too, which is the really crazy thing about it. For a game that is such a Euro mechanic-driven game, it was highly thematic. Absolutely loved it. I was much more competitive in this than I was in Terra Mystica. And I was very thankful to this guy, Peter, who happened to walk by, see myself and Ryan struggling with the rules a little bit, sat down and taught it to us. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Peter played it and kept us on track. This other guy, Teague, who worked at the boardroom, saw us struggling, came over and taught us Terraforming Mars. It was fantastic. And my number 1 favorite game that I played at the con was Spirit Island. Now, Spirit Island was actually a game that Ryan, my buddy that I went with, he already knew how to play it. He's really enjoyed it, and so he taught it to myself, and then that couple that I mentioned that taught us Terra Mystica. And Spirit Island was, oh my gosh, the amount of theme in this game. And I was one of the spirits that is high on fear, and then Christine, who was one of the people that part of that couple, she had a much more offensive type spirit, and then the other 2 had this defensive spirits, and it was tense, it was nerve-wracking, and we got down to the very last turn. If one more turn had gone, we would have lost. We would have run out of cards, and we got to the very last turn, and we managed to stop the invaders, which was just fantastic. And that's my time for my top 3. Now we're going to get into the first game that I want to present to you. We're going to have about 2 rounds of this game, so 4 total turns, 2 from me, 2 from my opponent, Ryan. This is Batman Gotham City Chronicles. We're playing versus mode, and when we get done with it, I'll tell you what I think about it. So let's get right to the video for Batman Gotham City Chronicles.
Now, which one? So they all basically have 2, though. Because he can...
Yeah, out of these guys, this guy is 1.
But he can do 2 because he's got...
If you're attacking him range, yeah, he has an additional range attack.
And I've already taken out who of your people? Oh, he's already put them away. I don't know who they are.
Oh. Yeah. Well, obviously the drone.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Until an entire unit goes away.
Yeah.
So you're taking out 1 baton and 1 regular pistol.
Where's the... Okay, so who's coming up next of your group?
This is the pistol. We've got baton, the very next one, and then Harvey Bullock. Harvey's just going to go get a taco, so you don't have to worry about it.
Taco sounds good, man.
I want to get... Can I see this guy? Yeah, I guess I can.
Is this in the way?
Where are you shooting from? Where are you shooting from?
From right here.
No, that guy's good. See, this is a lower elevation.
But there's a wall.
I know. That's because it's a lower elevation.
Imagine
this is a loading zone. You're driving down into the loading zone. You can see because of the stairs.
Oh, okay.
So like he could not shoot here, but he can shoot there.
Okay. All right. So he's gonna shoot there. He's gonna shoot this man.
Okay.
So I use 2 orange dice. 2 orange dice.
I can't use the targeting thing.
Dice. Yeah, I said dices.
I can't use the targeting tool because it was only in a beta.
Okay.
So they took it down.
See? It's now gonna.
Whatever I have is communicable.
Now, can I? If I say I want to re-roll, I re-roll both of them, or
no,
just 1?
1 per cube.
Yeah. Oh, well, then what the hell?
Woo.
Wow, getting fancy.
Two.
Yeah,
You're
2
down.
defense,
Yeah,
so.
so.
Yeah. Gotham pays for good Kevlar. It understands that it's Gotham.
I'm gonna shoot this thing.
Okay, you're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that one of the things?
That's one of the drones.
Yeah. Two.
I mean, you can put a cube in to try to defend it.
I have to roll.
You would have to get 2. It has no defense.
I roll yellow or
An
orange?
orange.
Spend that cube.
So I have 2 out of. I got a 1/3 chance of defending.
Yeah, no, that should be great for you.
Let's do it.
This is when his luck is gonna turn. Watch.
No, that's reroll. Wrong spot.
Oh, I want this.
Yeah.
See?
That's 1. You can pay to reroll.
Oh, again?
I thought it was going to be much longer, so I was like,
Getting expensive.
it was like over.
Yeah,
That was worse.
That's what we expected.
Yeah, I get. Yep.
All right.
Bye, Mr. Drone.
Who else you got?
Oh, the other guy's. So he could move.
Yeah, he's sitting there watching TV.
Ow. And he's gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot this baton guy. He's just. Oh, not baton. This
That's a
yeah.
pistol guy.
So I'm using 2. I mean, yeah, 2
He's got 1 defense.
He's got Kevlar
3.
though too, doesn't he?
Oh, that's right. 2 defense.
Yeah,
because
but
of the
3.
range. So I need 1 more to beat it. Definitely.
Okay, now you just need
I
the
don't
1.
think I've used this one before.
Hey!
So now my luck's turning around.
And that's it for me because I've done 3 and you've
I
done
did for him. So
1.
you got to move him to the back and do the
Warning.
warning, right?
Yeah. So yeah.
Croc time.
So your second activation is gonna be the warning. So for this, you don't have anybody to remove. You're gonna flip out Croc. You're gonna flip out Clayface for Croc.
Like I just put this.
Yep.
And he doesn't turn back into Clayface until the warning.
Until the
comes
warning
back
comes
on.
up again. Yep.
Alright, so I'll just move that there.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So Croc is
So
here.
now you have Croc's skills and you just don't have his leadership ability.
So my turn now? Does the warning count as part of that?
Yep, that was the second activation. What, you got a question?
Oh wait a minute, so I don't get to use Croc?
You do when it comes around.
When it comes to his turn.
Oh, I mean I get to use this guy then.
No,
The warning was an activation.
Remember, I don't have one because Gordon's ability is to replace my warning with the heavies.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I'm saying I don't get to do another move of doing it.
Yeah, but you have a cool leader ability where you get to flop guys out, whereas he doesn't have any leader ability. He's
But,
got 2 slow
Literally,
heavies.
the only anybody.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm cheating. Is basically what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's
I picked Gordon because I knew what would happen.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, because you knew what would happen.
Ridiculous.
Yep.
So, all right. So I get the baton guys. They are.
Oh wait a minute, I get to move these down to here, right?
Yeah,
And then you said 5 go.
at the start of your turn.
He's got a pistol in his hand, but he's not going to use it.
He's not?
He's a melee attack only.
No, he's got a.
He's got it. Range.
Oh, that's what the second
Yeah,
one
that's the
is.
second one is. Yeah.
Oh,
You've
so
literally
Gordon-
been using nothing but ranged characters for the rest of the.
For the whole time.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking at. Never mind. I don't know what I was just thinking.
Get
there.
it together.
Okay. I apologize. So baton.
You got 1 on top of the truck.
There's one here.
Yep.
And 1 here and 1 here.
Yeah, you should have 3 because
So,
1's dead.
Well, let's
Yeah.
do this guy first.
Yeah, then here's the other one.
So
He needs to move out from behind the truck if he's gonna do
This
anything.
be 1, 2,
Yeah, you can get up there.
and then 3. No, 3, 4.
Yeah, it'd be 3, 4.
You don't have 4 moves.
If I was here, can I attack?
Yeah,
him?
yeah, you got elevation on him.
Now that's
All right. So I need white and orange. Is yellow better than white?
Yes,
Do you have to ask that question? Because so far none of the dice.
but you can't melee because you're not adjacent because you're at an elevated spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You can
So
use the baton on him.
I was gonna baton him. Yeah.
Just drop the baton from the top of the truck.
All right. White and orange. Right. Yes.
1
Hey,
hit.
it's gonna take more than
I
that.
got 1 natural.
Gonna re-roll that.
Spend the cube.
I am.
He's
It's the only way I'm gonna win. I gotta.
Oh, you need to move 5 of those over at the start of your turn.
so he's got a bunch of.
I don't know about a bunch, but he's certainly got more to work with. Oh, it was going on it and hit the mini and flipped.
He's the traitor. He's the traitor. What is the traitor game?
Oh man,
there you go.
He's a mole in Gordon's group.
All right, well, let's go to move this guy down. He's going to go. Wait, he's at an elevated spot. I can shoot him from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
That's what's happening. Actually, I'm going to go after both of them.
Oh.
Because I already killed one of them before.
Why do the heavies have gas canisters on their back? They don't have flamethrowers. Oh! You know, you miss or you roll 4. Those are the only two things you do.
So now, if
Go big or go home.
You're a glass cannon.
if I want to save him, I have to get 2, right?
Because he has a natural defense to do?
2,
Yeah, you'd
yeah.
have to roll 2 successes.
Ooh.
Go for it.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Oh, wait a minute. Keep track of rounds. This is round 3, I think?
Orange.
Yeah, start round 3. Nope, that's not enough.
All right.
I'll let him die.
Whew. All right. Okay. So that was this guy. I'm going to leave him there. This guy. Oh, also.
Has an elevation. Yep.
Or no. This. He's going to go after this one.
Okay.
That's more like it. Let's go. Reroll.
Nope, it's a.
All right. Okay, so nothing for that guy.
That's the baker we know.
Yes. Yes, that's all of them.
Yep.
Because one's dead already.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Well, oh, you
I
could use
forgot
this
to
guy.
move these
Yeah.
over, by the way. Forgot to move those over.
Yeah.
So
that
one's in the center.
there. This guy.
Now we go to
Harvey Bullet, baby. He doesn't melee, by the way. He can't be bothered to go hands on with anybody.
No.
This is him?
Yeah.
I'm betting he doesn't have parkour as a skill either.
It's not. Oh yeah. What are these skills?
All right, let's see what we got here.
We know what that. That's the
investigation, which doesn't matter. Okay, one's a good fighting as a retaliation fighting thing, I think.
Okay.
Which is crazy since he doesn't melee. Counterattack. After a melee attack has been resolved against you, you can perform a free melee attack upon the attacker with it's going to be 2 yellow die, and that's it. And then,
So I can retaliate to melee?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to get into a fist fight, but if somebody comes
really
to get
angry
some,
when somebody does.
yep.
Send him against the crowd.
Sure. Yeah.
And then if you
Seems
are
sound.
the bottom one is point blank range. If you are in the same space as your opponent, you get that many rerolls.
Oh, cool. Okay, so Harvey, who has 2 movement.
So he could go around this cart and get in there with them to get event. Well, but if you're there, you get your point blank range.
Reroll.
Yeah.
1,
Which
2. I like. Well,
you
but he's
need.
by himself in that space.
Yes.
He's got
Let's do it.
protection. He's chubby.
I think you mean isn't Bullock the crooked one? Isn't he the one that's always like shaking people down and stuff?
He's
Yeah,
sometimes
that's what I thought.
he's sometimes depicted that way. He's not always depicted that way.
He's not depicted
You
correctly.
go with the one shot. I always like to go with just the one big shot here. Okay.
No, this is not even going to go well. Yeah.
That's 3, but you've got rerolls because of point blank.
One is there's a blank on there. Okay. All right, 3.
You want to reroll the red, see if you can do better?
I got 2.
Oh, look, we do have one left over here.
No. How many rerolls did you get for point blank? What's the number?
1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you got 3. My guy has 2, so I just got to get 1.
Yeah. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna max that out and do this.
No, you already rerolled that one. You got to do red.
Right. So I have to do red to do it.
Yep.
All right, man, this is taking a big risk here.
Do the yellow.
Yeah!
There's no point.
Okay.
I love how Harvey's just like walking up to him and just shooting him right in the
Harvey's
gut.
just like gut shotting this guy. Okay, your turn. Oh, gotta do this.
One of the I forget which reviewer pointed it out, but one of the great like hypocrisies in the rules in this game is how Batman has one of his skills does not allow him to use guns.
But he will pass the gun off.
He can pass the gun to somebody
and
else.
They can kill somebody.
Yep, they can just spray him. I don't kill, but you do.
Like hand the machine gun to
Gordon.
For whatever reason, Gordon's cool with just spraying him. Anyway.
He's close to retirement. He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
So he's telling everybody else to reroll.
Gordon would have that too because
No, but see, when Gordon became Batman for a little while, if I remember right, I never read this
Gordon
series.
became Batman?
Yeah,
What does this do?
Parkour. That's the one that gives you like extra 1 to your jumping and lets you ignore 1 damage when falling and stuff like that.
So if he moves down, how many points does that take?
Because of parkour, it'll only be 1.
So that's 1. These guys are annoying.
Yeah, it's a new 52 thing, I think, where like Batman disappeared or something, and Gordon was given a suit, like a high-tech suit, to be Batman for a while, and I think he got like super violent.
Oh, really?
I think so. I never read it.
Well,
but-
so like it was pre-New 52 because Gordon was the one that prevented Batman from killing the Joker after the Joker maimed Barbara.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, killing Joke.
Alright, then I'm going to attack with 3 yellows against this guy.
And now New 52 is gone, so I have no idea what anybody's like these days. So, well, that could have gone better. Who is he
Who did
attacking?
you go against? Yeah. So he has 2 armor.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was contagious.
Wow. Oh, yeah, people complain about the faces on this.
Oh, they're warping.
Oh, they're big warped.
Yeah.
These are not the best monolith minis I've
Yeah,
ever
because
seen.
look. It's like,
Yeah,
Yep, same thing.
these are not the best monolith minis ever.
Man, I almost backed this too.
So if
he's going again.
with season 2 with more individual guys to play versus with,
Wait a minute, what does...
I don't not recommend this.
what does that mean down there?
I'm not sure. It doesn't mean anything for what we're doing.
Okay.
Which one?
This is bottom.
Oh, probably something with a computer.
3.
3, okay. All right. I'll add this.
See?
So what now? So do you want to? You can re-roll that.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, it's the reinforcement cost during like an adventure mode battle to bring him back out.
One, 2.
Which one? This one or that one? This one is it melee?
Yeah.
This one has 1 defensive.
Okay, I'll go with that. 2. So I got him. I'm
He
saying,
doesn't
like, unless
have
he
the
does
automatic defense against melee?
something- Not
No,
melee. It's
his
against
defense
ranged
was
weapons.
just range. Oh wait.
I thought it was ranged.
So the Kevlar is the same. It looks the same. Some people it's melee and some people it's range. You have to look in the middle of the Kevlar to see if it's a target or a fist. That I'm not sure. Let me double check that.
So he does not have. He has something entirely different.
Alright, so let's find out.
But yeah.
But anyway, so
Oh, that's sacrifice. You can sacrifice yourself to save somebody else in the space.
Oh.
Yeah, so
do I get to choose if I want to re-roll before you do your thing, or
Yeah. Would he get to re-roll before I? Roll
yeah, he has to do all his rerolls before you decide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has to determine basically how much damage you're going to take.
That last re-roll, take it out because you did it after my.
okay?
Yeah. You should.
All right, so
I'll save
this
it to you.
one
Yeah.
and that one.
You really went twice. Okay. Oh, 4.
Yeah.
So now I got to get up to. I got to get 3.
Yeah, I got 3.
Okay. All right.
I did that because that's going to be the end of my turn.
Okay.
Oh no, Bane gets to go. Yeah.
Yeah. That was your first. That was your first group.
Yeah, move your disc so he keeps track of what you're doing.
So Bane goes. So 1.
What's Bane's skills? Let me see his token.
Oh
Let me see
yeah,
his
go
thing.
ahead.
He has park.
He's got a couple of things.
He's got parkour, so he can get down the ladder on your normal movement. And then he's got martial arts, so he adds 1 to every attack, and he can crash through walls.
To every melee attack?
Yep.
Or is that all he's got? That's all he's got.
All right,
Yeah,
so
he adds 1 automatic success
so
to
I'm
his
coming
melee
down
attack.
He
here.
crashed through walls?
Yeah.
coming down here, and I'm going after this guy. So what I'm going to use.
Bane used to scare the crap out of me. Because I read
I'm going to use black die.
his original series.
The Nightfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was
So wait a minute, I get to use an extra attack or something? Or what
No,
did you say?
you get 1 immediate. So if you succeed, for some reason it's not in the little reference sheet that they made for all of us. So I got to go to the original set. And I want to make sure I'm saying it right. I think it's if you get 1 hit through, it adds an additional hit or something like that.
I'm just going to roll and then you find out. 4. And a potential 5.
I guess
then,
this guy?
You add X automatic successes during a melee attack if you have obtained at least 1 success. So 5.
So it's now 5 then.
I have 2 defense. I have to roll a 3. He's dead.
Yeah. Bane punches Bob. Bob dies.
Yeah, basically. All right.
That's
So
pretty much it
that's
then.
Bane. So now my turn.
Yeah, so
All right.
these all move here.
So this goes over here. 5 of these.
Bane goes to the back.
Over here. And so now I've got my SWAT with briefcase.
Oh, so this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy, and this guy, and that guy.
Yeah, they're all okay. All right, so we'll go this guy first. I'm gonna try to take this guy out since I've been shooting him since the beginning of the game. 2 whites and a yellow. There we go. That's more what I'm.
Wait, which one is this? This is the owl guy.
Yeah. So now Gordon,
He's got natural 2. Yeah.
Okay, Gordon's there. So there we go. All right,
4.
4.
So I would have to get 2.
Yeah.
And it's an orange? Yeah, orange. He's dead.
Okay.
Man, you've been trying to kill him for.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to kill these people. I'm down to finally 1.
And then you can't move after you do an action, correct? After you do a complex action.
There's a
wouldn't
second
think so.
move rule. There's a second move rule, but I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know how.
We
to
haven't been
work
doing it, so let's not do it.
Yeah, that's true, because we have always been moving.
We've all been
and
moving
then,
first.
Yeah.
It's remember that page I showed you that you can't make heads or tails of?
Yes.
It's that.
Well, let's go. He has 2 movement, right?
Yeah, I would not recommend this game for versus mode. But if all it was adventure mode, I would tell people to never buy this.
I'm guessing this blocks line of sight.
Yes.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
think
because
so.
you're down
Even
in that
from up
loading
here?
time. No, you're fine from up there because you're like way
You're
up
way
on top of the
Oh,
building.
okay.
You would
I haven't killed either one of those guys yet, have I?
not one of these or these.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go after this guy. Yep. And it's gonna be again with this. Oh my gosh.
1, and he's got natural 1. So if you want to.
No rerolls, so we will do this. Wow.
You want to reroll again?
No.
So-
All right, and then this
That
guy.
was this guy, so now you have
this
to-
guy will go 1, 2. Oh, and it's still blocking.
You
it right
block
now.
now.
Yep.
So
But you
he'll-
could shoot.
You,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you could do. Yep.
2.
2.
So now he's.
Unless you want to give yourself a reroll.
I think he does. To add to it.
Hey,
boy.
like I said, glass cannon.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh wow, he took it. Okay.
Okay. All right, and that was the. There's one more here. He hasn't gone yet. So we'll do the guy right here in the space with him. Is there any penalty for doing ranged in the same space?
In the same no. Except for the fact you're bad at dice.
Yeah.
Who's doing ranged at the same space?
Right here.
Oh,
With what? I'm just looking at what he's.
The suitcase is like in the movie. It's like in the movie Desperado.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now my drones.
You're one drone.
I got
Oh,
2,
no, 2.
fortunately.
Yeah.
So, all right, this guy go. That's the sound a drone makes, and he's going to go after this guy.
Okay.
White and yellow.
3.
I get to retaliate,
Nice. Okay, that's gonna kill my drone.
but I'm also
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah, it really is.
I have
Help
very little
him
doubt about
first.
that.
So
blocked
he's
one?
safe, yeah. Well, and you had 2 health.
Yeah,
Yep,
you
so-
blocked it.
So now I get to shoot you. So I shoot with what? Whites?
No, sorry, yellows.
That's what I thought I was going to say. Yeah. 1.
That's all I needed.
Can I defend against
Yeah,
that?
yeah, this is an attack.
Bam.
Like auto defenses you can't defend against because you're
Can
not.
I
doing-
reroll or? Sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you can choose to reroll if you want.
I guess right. Yeah, why not? No. Yeah, no, I won't. That's fine. So you can have that through the essence.
The one drone's like, I'll survive.
Yeah.
Then this guy is going to fly from the back, move 5. Oh, look at that.
Oh, they're fast.
You can fly over here so you can get the Gordon rerolls.
Yeah, 1. There we go. And he's going to fire into this crowd and go after...
Yeah, and you can hit the whole lane. You can hit that guy all the way down there if you wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Other figures does not break line of sight.
Well, yeah, I'm good for this guy.
No, you ain't.
Really?
But you get your 2 Gordon rerolls.
I'm with Gordon. And Gordon inspires my drone to do better.
That would be the most incredible power if you were at all able to roll dice.
Unbelievable. So that was Batman Gotham City Chronicles. That was the versus mode, which was pretty much it was a pretty fun time. I gotta say though, it seemed that Carl, who is the guy you heard kind of teaching it to Ryan and myself, he said that the adventure mode, I believe, is the other mode that you can play, that it was just a slog. Just your actions were way more expensive to use. It was way more difficult to use them, and instead of being this high action-packed thing, it turned into this kind of, you don't really want to spend your energy to fight because you need to spend it to disarm bombs or to hack computers, and so it's just this really just not fun, dry, monotonous slog, which is really a shame because it's such a cool IP and such a potentially well realized game. That system obviously was pretty well realized with Conan. And so that's unfortunate. Now the versus mode that we played, I had a good time with it. It seemed though that there were a lot of things that were maybe a bit too, not complex, because I don't mind complex, but just not presented well. I noticed that the elevation changes were not shown on the board at all. Like you have to look in the book to see what the elevation changes are, and that seemed really strange to me. The sheer number of icons for abilities, and it's not like everybody uses kind of the same abilities and so you can easily memorize them. There was a ton of icons that were, it just was impossible to memorize them all. And then in the rule book or whatever, I believe it was actually a reference sheet that Carl was looking at, they weren't laid out in such a way that it was particularly easy for him to reference, and it just seemed like a lot of unrealized potential. Also, one thing that I learned for sure at Origins is that I have a good bit of upgrading I got to do for some of my equipment for filming at cons. The methods I use here in my controlled environment here at home are perfectly fine for this, but at a con, I've got a little bit of work to do. It was a little bit of a nightmare trying to get around with the equipment that I've got. On the very first day, my microphone broke, and so then I went and tried taping it up, like the piece, the alligator clip that clips it to your shirt. Oh, it was... it felt like straight amateur hour, and so I appreciate the people that kind of hung with me while I was getting those things sorted out. Origins was quite an eye-opener. I learned a lot of things. I gotta forget about the filming, but it also applies to that. When I go to a con, especially something anywhere near this size, I've got to go in with a plan, because the way my brain works, having 10 different things pulling at my attention from 10 different directions, and I end up doing none of them because I'm just kind of like deer in headlights. So a lot of fun with that, but my point is, bear with me with some of the audio here. So this next video we're going to get into is a quick 5-minute-ish little overview of a game called Laruna: Age of Kingdoms. Now this is a game that was on Kickstarter apparently just a little while back that I completely missed. I didn't see it. This was the first that I'd ever heard of this game. I was walking by the table and it completely caught my eye. I stopped, I had to come back and take a look at it. I ended up doing a quick interview there about the game, and it looks fantastic. What they had to say about it seems really cool. It's a 1 to 6 player game in which, he said 4X. I'm not sure if there's actual exploration since you do have a set board in front of you, but still that same style of game. And and the thing that was really interesting is he says that it's a game where it fits into that category, and yet you don't necessarily have to ever fight a single time, and you could still be a viable candidate to win the game, and that's pretty cool. So let's get into this video, and I'll show you Laruna Age of Kingdoms.
All right, so we're over here at Odom Publishing, and they've got this new game. What's it called? What's the deal here?
Well, this is Laruna Age of Kingdoms.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our board game adaptation of the second RPG that we ever made. So yeah, this is a very 4X-ish type of game where there's the typical conflict between, exploitation of resources, warfare, exploration of new territories. Pretty heavy involved monstrosity.
And how many players are we talking in this game?
Well, it depends. There is actually a scenario set that comes with the product that allows for solo play. That'll give you plenty of options there if you're a solo type of gamer. But you can get up to 6 players in a single play.
So from 1 to 6, that's great.
Yeah.
And is it scenario based, or is it just?
It's purely competitive.
Okay.
The scenarios are only applicable to single player gameplay.
Okay.
They get a chance to pick a kingdom and pick a magic user, and then defend against a great monster and try and meet whatever requirements that particular scenario asks of them. But in normal gameplay with groups, they're actually players competing with other players.
All right, and are we doing like variable player powers then, or is it asymmetric, or is everybody sort of kind of the same?
It's heavily asymmetric. Basically, every player will pick both a kingdom to represent, which has its own unique agendas, units, style gameplay-wise, and then they'll also choose a magic user that's going to lead that kingdom, which allows them to do very specific things that are different from one another, giving you many kind of combinations, such as a soulbender that's commanding the Kingdom of Highland, allowing them to, heal by killing enemy units, or a summoner that's leading the Kingdom of Epilesis, giving them high mobility winged creatures, as well as conjured entities that are more mighty or powerful than the normal troops.
How long would a game normally take for, I guess, a solo game versus a 6-player game?
Well, the fun part about that, it's actually at the discretion of the play group.
Okay.
Because of the way the game works, you're essentially trying to prove your kingdom's worth before the end of time. So the trick is how long the end of time has before it occurs dictates how long the game is. If you play with lesser play groups, like 1 or 2 people, it's going to be a quicker duration, even if you pick 10 turns as your playtime, which is a short game.
This round tracker here.
Right over here.
Yep.
So if you do that, you're going to look at maybe an hour game, something like that. But if you play 6 players and you play a long game, like 20 turns, you could be looking at, several hours.
Sure.
Depending on how well versed the players are, how much thought they want to give to every little thing that they do, whether it be running their kingdom, moving their entity, like their units. So pretty big variance in the player's control.
Awesome. And so if there was one thing that you would say would be the selling point for this game that kind of sets it apart, what would you say that is?
I'd say that the uniqueness of what it could provide in a sphere of games that's typically dominated with very predictable behaviors. When you talk about war games and asymmetrical, conflicts, you quickly think of your stereotypical 4X games, whether they be on the table or in a video game format. And almost always a singular strategy of quick and aggressive warfare where I can accumulate more than everyone else is always the best answer. Here, because the only objective is to earn as much favor as possible, there are many ways to earn favor, even if it's through economic dominance or superior trade. You could literally never participate in a war and still win the game. And that's unusual for a game like this.
I'd say that is.
So that was Laruna Age of Kingdoms. Now next up, I've got Battletech. Now this was one of those things where I'm walking past this booth and I see this name that I've heard of for so long. As long as I've been alive, Battletech's been around. And I was like, you know what, let's sit down, let's see what kind of demo they got running here. And they were demoing their beginners package, beginners kit or something like that. And I gotta say, it was pretty interesting that the scaled back version of Battletech was still so in-depth and intense. I'm just gonna get to the video because you'll see just how much goes into it. We're still rolling on tables upon tables in the beginner version of this game. So let's get right down to Battletech and I'll show you what went on with this.
And go ahead and roll those. The player who rolls higher, that's you, gets to go last. This is good. All right, after we roll initiative, then we're going to move.
Okay.
So we're going to start with you. You lost initiative. Basically, this means he gets to see where you're going.
Yeah. Gets that react.
So on your mech, you have 3 types of movement: walking, running, and jumping. I'm only going to deal with walking and running right now.
Okay.
Here's something I should tell you about this game, by the way. I have been playing Battletech for almost 35 years now.
Okay.
And I've been teaching Battletech for at least 15.
Okay.
I have developed a pure, fiery, burning hatred for many of these giant robots. I love it when bad things happen to giant robots. So I might sort of introduce a new aspect of the game to you guys at a time that seems really horrible to one of you.
Okay.
It's nothing personal. I just met you guys. It's just against the minis, or the mechs anyway.
Okay.
So, you're going to move first. I'm not going to talk about jumping, just walking and running right now.
Yep.
The number there is the number of movement points that you get. You're going to spend 1 movement point to walk forward 1 hex in clear terrain, 1 movement point to turn 1 hex facing in either direction. Costs an extra movement point to enter light woods,
Okay.
2 extra movement points to enter heavy woods.
Okay.
You can either walk or run in a turn, but not both.
Okay.
And why you would want to do one or the other will actually make sense when we get to ranged combat.
Okay.
So you're going to go first. For a demo game, I like to say aggression is the right form because you're not getting paid to bring these mechs home today.
Yeah.
So I recommend charging blindly at your opponent.
All right.
Um,
So now you said it's 1 point though. So do I have a total of 5 points?
you have a total of, well, you can do 5 if you want to walk. Think of walk as sort of, it's a comfortable mosey.
Okay.
When we get to actual ranged combat mechanics, you'll see the difference, but it's easier to hit your opponent if you're walking.
Okay.
It's harder for your opponent to hit you if you go a long way.
Okay.
So,
So 1 point.
exactly. I would just count it out as you go along.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Now, after you're done moving,
Yes.
and that's what this chart is for, we're actually going to put a little die down next to your mini
Okay.
to demonstrate how far you moved.
Oh.
And that's here on the attack modifiers table. It says target movement modifiers, move 5 to 6 hexes, and it says +2. So you're going to take the little die with a 2 facing up, and you're going to put it down next to your mini.
Okay.
In about 5 minutes when we get to ranged combat, this will make a whole lot of
Okay,
sense.
that's what I was about to say. It's probably leading up to something.
Exactly. All right. Now he's moved. Now it's your turn to move.
All right. So, and we're just walking right now.
Well, you can run at him if you'd like.
Let's run.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. Oh, make sure I'm facing the right. Was I facing that way or this way?
You're actually facing this way.
That was 3.
Yep.
4, 5,
6.
6, 7, 8.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, now, when we count that number, it's the number of hexes that you moved, not the number of movement points that you spent.
Okay.
This
So like
is-
if I going through trees or something like that.
Things that slow you down, like turning or moving through trees, do not help you for being harder to hit. Now, in his case, he moved 7 to 9 hexes, so that's +3.
3, so
So I'll do this for you, so you got your hand free, so he's got a 3.
Yep.
Okay.
After everybody is moved, then we're going to do ranged combat.
Okay.
Now, you shoot first, but all ranged combat is effectively simultaneous.
Okay.
So, so you're going to do all your shooting. But
Is that because I had the higher initiative?
Yes, but actually that's a disadvantage. That's to make up a little bit for the fact that he had to move first.
Okay.
You have to shoot first.
I got you.
So he gets to see what happens
Oh, okay.
during the ranged combat before deciding what he wants to do.
Okay.
Now, if you die here, you still get to shoot back this turn,
Okay.
but
Because
you're
it
still
happened
dead.
simultaneously.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The lasers cross in
Yeah.
midair. Don't think about it too
don't
hard.
cross the streams.
Right.
All
All right. So you're going to shoot first. Now,
All right.
the
So what
first
are we
thing we're going to
looking
do is figure out how far apart you are.
Okay.
You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes apart.
Okay.
Pretty much the same way you count range in any other board
Yeah, I
game
was
you've
about
ever
to-
played.
Okay.
Now, you have a list of your guns down here on your sheet. So in your case, you have an LRM-10, that stands for Long Range Missile,
Okay.
and below that is a PPC, or a
Okay.
Particle Projection Cannon.
Sure, that's what I was going to say.
Well, Particle Projection Cannon doesn't fit on the sheet. So, now we're going to calculate what do you need to roll to hit. And you're going to
Okay.
figure this out for each of your guns. So we have this neat little acronym that we've come up with, GATOR. you start with your gunnery skill. That's printed in the bottom here.
Okay. So the gunnery skill down here.
You know what? If you want to look, we start with your gunnery skill. That's a 4.
Oh, right there. Okay.
That's a guy who knows how to pilot a mech but is not terribly good at it. He's a 4 gunner.
Okay.
And then all of your modifiers are going to be added to that. So when it said something says +2 to hit, that's not like a +2 sword in D&D. That's bad.
Okay.
So in this case, you're a 4 gunner. That's the G.
Yep.
Next is attack movement modifier.
Okay.
You ran.
Yep.
So the attack movement modifier for running, it's right here, is +2.
Okay. Yep.
So now we're up to 6.
Okay.
Next, the T is for the target's movement modifier. That's that die that we
what he
had you
did.
guys put out.
So he has the 2 there.
So you have a 2. Now we're up to 8.
Okay.
Now there's other. That would be for things like if there are trees in the way or anything like that.
Okay, any
There's
type of
not.
terrain.
Yep. And then finally we have range. Now, for each of your guns, you have a set of 3 range categories: short, medium, and long. And then printed above those is the modifier for that.
Okay, yeah.
So at 5 hexes apart, your guns are both at short range because they're less than the 7 here for your PPC or the 6 for, sorry, 7 for your LRM or your 6 for your PPC. So both your guns are at short range, so that's +0.
Okay.
So now you need to roll an 8 or higher to hit, and you roll separately for each gun that you're going to fire.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll. We'll start with, say, the LRM 10 because it's printed first.
And
roll
so
your 2 dice. You want to roll an 8 or higher.
So I got a
9.
You have
9.
hit. Good. This is where I often cheat, just so I can make sure that. Now, the next thing you're going to do, for an LRM, it's a little special. An LRM, you have to roll in what's called the cluster hits table. So he fires the LRM 10. You can actually see on the mini, he's got this pod.
Yeah.
That's it.
10 missiles come flying out.
Nice.
If you hit the to-hit roll, some of them hit the target, but not necessarily all.
Okay.
So on the cluster hits table, you're going to look at the 10 column, and you're going to roll 2 dice.
Okay.
And that tells you how many of the missiles hit. So you got 6. 6 on the 10 chart
6 of them
is
hit.
6 missiles.
Okay.
Now, we could have you roll 6 different locations. The next thing is, where do I hit?
Okay.
We don't, because that would take forever. So for an LRM 10, we group them into sets of 5.
Okay.
So you're going to roll a 5-point location
Okay.
and a 1-point location.
Okay.
So 5 missiles hit you one place, 1 hits you somewhere else. So that's the final roll. That's the hit location table. So roll for the 5 points. You're going to roll 2 dice. That's here.
All right. So a 10.
You rolled a 10.
it's
So we
the
hit you
left
in
arm.
the left arm. So take your handy dandy wet erase marker and fill in 5 circles on the left arm. Yep.
That's
All right. Now you have 1 more missile
Right.
that hit randomly somewhere else.
We got a
3.
So that's
Right
going to be the right arm.
The right arm.
So now
So you
that's
fill in 1 more circle on the right
Oh,
arm.
yeah, 1%.
Oh, and,
Right.
and actually on here it actually has the numbers too, doesn't it?
Actually, I think those are the hit Yeah, those are the hit locations are actually printed here on the chart.
Cool.
All right. You still have your PPC,
Oh, right.
which also hits on an 8. So you go ahead and roll that hit location as well.
3.
That is
so that's gonna
not
be-
an 8.
Oh, that was just a hit.
That was the to hit roll.
Yeah, I
Yep.
missed.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So you have hit him with the missiles. The PPC has gone wide,
Completely.
and the other
Just
4
a bit
missiles, for
outside.
that matter, like they destroyed a Walmart or a
Right.
gas station or something off the map. Now he's done shooting. Now it's your turn to shoot.
Okay.
So we're going to do the same math for you. You are a 4 gunner.
4 plus
You walked.
2.
So no, that's
Oh.
that's for him.
Oh, so
you
it's
care about his 3.
3.
But next is the A in Gator, so the attack movement. And that is attacker movement. You walked. Remember,
yeah,
you
5.
decided to take
Yeah.
it easy.
Yeah, I walked
5.
Yep.
He's showing a 3, 8.
Okay.
There's no other. And finally, range. Now, for your guns are shorter range than his, sadly.
Yeah.
So your medium laser
I got
has
you
a
on
medium range of 6, a short range of 3. He's more than that away. So your medium range for that, so that's plus 2 more.
So I'm at 10.
You need a 10. So go ahead and roll a 10 for your
Yeah, I
medium
don't
laser.
see that happening. Yep.
All right. Now you also have an SRM6,
So I do the same
also
thing.
medium range, also needs a 10. Oh, so close! Now finally, your autocannon 5 actually
It's that-
has better range.
It's at 8.
That only needs an 8. Yep.
Ooh,
And there you go.
There you go.
Nothing special for boxcars. As cool as they are, there's no automatic hit or critical hit or anything like that. All right, so your AC 5 does 5 points of damage.
Okay.
So you're going to roll to see where you hit him.
Just one die?
Two dice, yep, on the hit location table. 11. Now 11's not as bad as it sounds.
I thought it was my head, but no, head's just
That's
12.
only 12.
Okay.
So you're going to fill in 5 circles on your left arm.
Left arm.
So you guys are actually came out of this in pretty much the same condition.
Yeah. Right in the shoulder.
Now, after this, actually, that's it. I have to remind myself for the quick start rules which things aren't in the full game. In the full game, you got fists and feet. You could punch and kick each other.
Oh, wow.
You're too far away from that. This is not Voltron. You can't, no rocket punches here. So then the turn is over. We pick up our movement dice.
Okay.
And we roll initiative for the next turn.
I got
6.
5.
So you get to go first.
Okay. So, and then when you're playing the full game, I'm guessing you have stuff that could modify initiative rolls and that sort of thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
it's not just based on
this is again the very basic set.
Sure.
This game's been out for 35 years. There's hundreds of expansions that add special pilot abilities.
Sure.
Obviously, there are literally thousands of different mechs.
Wow. Okay.
Different designs. There are different variants. So here, right, you have the GRF 1N Griffin.
Right.
But even in this set, we have. Let me see. Where's the other Griffin? Here is the 1S Griffin with a different set of weapons entirely.
Okay.
One idea in the Battletech universe is in the dark future, during that dark period called the Succession Wars, they lost a lot of very important technologies. They couldn't really build mechs anymore, or they could, but not to the rate that they were blowing them up.
Okay.
So a big thing was battlefield salvage. Let's say you kill him, shoot his head clean off, that you got a bunch of guys following you with trucks that are going to load his mech onto your truck and
rip it apart,
rebuild a new head, rip it apart.
Okay.
So in this case, many cases, mechs have whatever guns they had available.
Okay.
All right.
So
you have lost
I move
initiative.
first.
You move first.
go first.
Yep.
All right. So I could run again for 5, or I could move, or run for 8 or move for 5.
Yep.
Now, is there any cover for being in the trees?
Absolutely. That's part of the O. So if you want to shoot somebody, if they're in light woods, it's +1 to hit them. If they're in heavy woods, it's +2.
Okay.
And that counts for woods that they're standing in or woods that you have to shoot through. The woods that you're in don't hurt you.
Okay.
So you can shoot out of woods. Right, the idea is, you're leaning around the last tree in the stand or whatever like that.
Can I move sideways or have to face
No, you have to
way?
turn
Okay,
first. So 1 movement point to turn. Actually, you know what? Turn back. Let's talk about jumping.
Oh, okay.
So with jumping, you can go in any direction. You don't pay for facing changes, and you don't pay for terrain.
Okay.
You pretty much just pick up your mini and put it down up to that many hexes away.
Oh.
So you have a jump speed of 5.
All right.
So you can move up to 5 hexes away.
So let's just go to here.
Sure.
And then would it still
Face
be on
whichever,
face?
nope, face whichever way you want.
Oh, whenever
when
I
you
land.
Yep.
Okay. That way. Okay.
All right. Now, where did you start? I think you were.
Started
I think you were
here.
So
Okay.
that's 6.
So you went 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes.
Right.
So your movement modifier for 4 would normally be +1.
Yep.
Yep. So your movement modifier for that is +1. So you're going to put a 1 down next to your mini. Now in the full game, it turns out you would have made that even harder to hit, but we'll worry about the full game later.
Okay.
All right. So now it is your turn. Now you've got short range guns. You should go get
That's
this
what I
face.
was going to.
Yep.
So I'm going to run.
Right.
2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So that would be 5, 6, because it costs an extra movement.
Yeah.
potential like
That's
this.
Oh, I get what you're saying, because what going into that is
Exactly.
So
Yep.
then
7 to
7,
turn.
then to
Yep.
turn.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. So that's his 1.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take
Sorry.
that away.
Yeah,
You need
yeah,
that.
Oh, is he gonna get a flanking gun or something?
And nope.
No, nothing like that.
All right, and you moved. I think you moved 5 hexes.
Yeah.
So the movement modifier for 5
Is 2.
exactly. So put a 2 down next to you.
All right. So now I'm there.
All right. Now you won initiative. You have to shoot first.
Okay.
Not the worst thing in the world to have to shoot first, but
Especially when you're right up on me like that.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So if I do this right, so it's a 4
yep.
plus the
Well, you ran,
Oh,
so that's +2.
+2.
So we're up to 6.
Plus is 1.
7.
Plus him
Plus
being there.
2 for his heavy
So
woods.
9.
Yep. Run out
That's
of
it.
fingers. 9. Yep,
9.
that's it.
Okay.
Because your range is absolutely short range.
Yeah, that's what I was about.
Yep.
Okay, so 9.
So let's start. Yep. Start with medium laser.
7.
Wah, wah, wah. There you go.
Yeah.
Oof.
Okay.
All right. So the SRM-6.
Yes.
Little different from the LRM.
Okay.
The missiles are bigger and beefier. They do more damage, but they have shorter range.
Okay.
So each SRM missile does 2 points of damage, and you're going to roll for a separate location for each one.
Okay.
So let's roll your cluster hits table to see how many of them
Actually hit.
blow up things in the background versus how many of them hit him.
So
6.
Right?
Yep. So 6 in the 6 column
Yep.
is 4 missiles.
Okay.
So you're going to roll 4 separate 2-point locations.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll 2 dice
Yep.
and get ready to mark off some 2s.
So 8.
8 is left torso.
Torso.
Yes, I have all of these charts permanently
Good.
imprinted in my brain.
So each one of these is 2 at a time.
Correct.
And then
Yep.
I'm just doing one more.
3 more.
Oh, 4
Yeah, you
total.
need
That's
4
right.
total. This is gonna suck.
So 9.
11.
Or 11. Yeah, keep running with this.
Left arm.
Yep. Oh man, that one is getting hurt.
All right, that's 2. Number 3. 7. That's the center torso.
I would like to hit the same area. 8.
Left torso again. Yeah, you're.
Other 2.
I mean, given the way you're facing, it makes perfect sense for you to hit him on the left
Yeah.
side.
All
It's
right.
almost like the dice know.
All right, so that was
okay, that was the
attack.
SRM. You still have your AC5.
Okay, so again, 9. That's what I'm trying to-
Yep.
Ah, good. Got him.
All right,
10.
the AC5 does 5 points of damage, so give us a location.
Okay.
This is gonna hurt.
10.
10.
That's my arm
left
again.
arm.
Oh,
Oh,
wait a second.
that arm is looking pretty
2,
bad.
3, 4, 5. Not
Oh,
much
I
left.
didn't.
Holding on by a thread. All right,
So that's it for me.
that is it for you. Now it's your
Okay.
turn to return the favor.
So we've got to roll.
So your 4-gunner,
Okay. So 4 gunner.
attack movement modifier. Now here's
I moved
where I may have steered
Okay.
you a little funny because
Okay.
jumping is +3 to hit.
That's
Okay,
what
so
I
that's
thought.
8.
I saw that after.
So 7. 4 and 3,
4
7.
4 and 7.
Seven.
Yeah, okay. And then
Starting to
he
make me
moved-
question my math here.
Then he moved.
He's showing
so
a 2,
so that's
9, and he's standing in light woods,
So
makes
10.
it 10.
Okay.
Yep.
So for LRM, I need a 10. I did not.
That
get
is
it.
not going to be a 10.
Not even close. They just went off in the opposite direction. And so now for the PPC,
Nope.
I whiffed. Completely whiffed.
All right. But now that we're close, now can we talk about the melee?
We could.
well, I
But
mean, I want to beat the crap out
yeah,
of
you do. Here is where
Or is that
I
too
got
much?
you guys
That's
too
fine.
excited. Melee combat is not in the beginner game.
Okay, then
Okay.
that's fine.
That's fine.
So there are 2 versions of the box set that we have for sale today. One of them is the beginner box set. That's this.
Okay.
Comes with 2 minis, these basic rules.
Yep.
Then there's also a game of armored combat. Comes with 8 minis and the full rules, which include punching people.
Yep.
And my favorite part of Battletech, which is heat.
Okay.
So you have these giant fusion engines that generate all the power you could ever possibly want.
Right.
They also generate lots of waste heat. So when you fire a laser, the engine has to really warm up a lot to generate enough electricity to fire the laser. That heats you up. Mechs can only get rid of so much heat at a time.
Sure.
So pilots are sitting there sweltering in their cockpits. And at first, it's not so bad. Your pilot's a little uncomfortable, but what do you care? You're sitting outside. But as the heat builds up, the mechs get, the muscles start to lock up, so
Yep.
they move slower and balkier. It gets harder to hit people as sweat is pouring down your eyes, your targeting computer is fritzing out. Eventually, at some point, the engine decides, you know what? I've had it with you overheating me so much, and can shut down.
Okay.
Or, here's a fun one, your ammo could explode.
Oh, nice.
That's bad.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
All right, so, you want to do another turn?
Yeah.
Let's do another turn. So, pick
Oh,
up
we
your
gotta-
dice,
Yeah, we got to roll.
and you got to roll initiative again. Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Yep, that's me.
Okay.
All right, you're
so
up,
I gotta
sir.
move again.
Yep.
Okay, so he's way more deadly at close
Just
range.
figure you're going to die.
So
Unfortunately, he moves just as
much
fast.
as
Oh, he
you,
does,
that's
he does,
how I'm
right.
going to hunt
So it
you
doesn't
down.
all right, well then I guess just so it,
You gonna stay there?
Yeah, might as well just stay right there. And
Actually, that'd be a benefit because then you don't have that plus.
I'm just gonna turn to face you because why not? Right? No reason not to.
That is correct. All right, so
Right, so yeah, let's get into it.
So
your turn.
So you didn't do anything. You stay stationary and you're
Yeah, so
zero.
that's a 0 for the.
Yeah.
So what I've yet to find, and I'm looking for it, is a die printed 0 to 5.
Yeah.
They don't make those, so we use the 6.
Oh, okay, because you don't have.
Yeah. See, I was.
Okay.
There are like 3 or 4 units in the entire history of Battletech that are capable of generating a 6 modifier.
Okay.
None of them, I promise you, in the beginner stuff.
Right.
In fact, I've been playing this game for 35 years. I think I can count on one hand the number of times I have played with a unit capable of generating a 6 modifier.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not gonna move.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna shoot each other.
So
yeah,
here is where you get another fun thing, which is how do I denote the difference between whether I walked for no modifier or stood still? We'll just remember, because you each only have one mech.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you want initiative, you shoot first.
All right.
Let's
So-
figure out what you need.
So 4.
Yep.
0.
0 for standing still, yep.
And 0 for that.
Yep.
So
Two
And
for
he's
heavy
2
woods.
for his heavy woods,
so 6, and then nothing else.
because you're all at short range.
Yep. 6.
Yep. Wah, wah, wah. There you
All right,
go.
there
Yes,
you
sir.
go.
I'm 6 hits.
All
All
right.
right. So we do the cluster hits table thing again.
Okay. So 7.
Is once again 4 missiles.
All right. 4 missiles.
So once again, we're going to roll 4 2-point locations.
7.
That is the center torso.
So that's 2.
Yeah.
All right.
11. Left arm.
It's
Oh!
gone.
So the left arm is now gone.
What
Let's
was
see.
on
Do
his
you have a
left
gun?
arm?
No, he doesn't have a gun in his
I
left
was
arm.
gonna
So his
say.
left arm is just gone. The important thing is any more damage that
Oh, I
would
see.
happen
Right
to his
there,
left
the
arm.
Right torso and right arm.
Exactly. Any more damage that's going to happen to his left arm is instead going to happen to his left torso.
Oh, I see. You just move it. Move it.
You
over
move it
the-
in. Yep.
Okay.
All right,
Yep.
so this is the third.
That was the yep. So now we're on missile 3.
2.
2 is the center torso. In the full game, that would have been awesome. And 4,
Is 10.
left arm, which becomes left torso.
So 2 more there.
Yeah.
All right.
You are slowly but surely whittling away.
All right. So the next thing again is
It's
I'm
the
trying
autocannon. Yep.
Yeah. So what was I trying to get?
You needed a 6.
6. 9.
Got it.
All right. Give us a 5-point location.
7.
7 center torso again.
That was 5 points.
Yep.
Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. So that's it.
All
for me.
right.
So this is a pretty clear indicator of why, and actually, even if you could catch up, it's still beneficial to move because it's harder. You can hit at that point.
That is correct.
So,
All
okay.
right. So you're 4.
So I should be a 5 then,
0,
probably, is what I need to
5. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Because it was
he's
only
right
4
way.
plus 2.
Well, you walked to turn your face,
Okay.
right?
All right.
So that still counts, even though you didn't move anywhere.
Okay.
So that's a 5
Okay.
plus the woods makes it 6.
Oh, so it was 6.
Yep.
Gotcha. So 6.
Yep. And you're going to
This
start
is
with your
gonna be
LRM.
an
Yep.
Yeah. No, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's only fair. He missed with 1 2. But you hit with the big one.
With the PPC, yep. All right.
PPC is 10 damage.
To one location.
One location. Let's see where you hit him.
One location is gonna.
Here we go. Let's go for
Now would be a good
12.
time to roll a 12.
7, okay.
So 7 again.
7 is center torso.
So 10.
10 to your center torso.
8, 9, 10.
Nice.
I
All right.
got a fully functioning robot.
Let's
in this
move your
car.
dice.
Yeah.
Let's roll initiative for the next turn.
I'm willing to
10.
All right, so,
Boy, it was off to a good start, but it's been
Yeah.
downhill since then.
all right, well, I think I'm just going to stand there and slug it out. So,
All right. So we'll put that 0 next to you. Now, hold on.
Well, yeah, well,
Remember how I said I like to see bad things
Yeah,
happen
that's what I
to
want
these
to see.
mechs?
Yeah, so give me some.
Mechs can only shoot in their front. So your mech has a forward arc. That forward arc is drawn by the 3 hex faces in front of
this
you.
is about to go real bad for me.
So this is your forward arc
Okay.
between these 2
Oh,
mechs.
yeah.
So if you were to say go somewhere that was not in
Those-
his forward arc, then you could shoot him, and he couldn't shoot you.
1.
Well, now remember you got to turn.
Oh yeah, sorry. So facing 1,
Yep.
2, 3, 4.
Now make sure that he's in your
5.
forward arc.
Yeah, which you are now.
Yep,
5.
there you go.
There you go. 5.
So,
Now, could he have jumped over me?
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so you've only moved 2 hexes,
Yeah.
which is a modifier of 0,
Oh.
but you don't care because
Oh yeah, because he
He
can't,
can't shoot you.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so you have to sit there going,
This is going to be real bad.
while he has his way with your
So
mech.
again, it's 6 again then, right? I'm saying how.
Well, let's calculate it out. You're 4 gunner.
Yep.
You walk makes it 5.
Oh,
He's
just
in
because
heavy
I'm
woods
walking.
makes it 7.
6, yeah, 7. All right.
So you need 7. All right, so your medium laser.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be medium laser does 5 damage. So let's get a location. 8. Left torso.
5 damage on the torso.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, you know what? I'm going to put the cap back on this just so I don't want them to dry out. All right, now your SRM also needs a 7 to hit.
He's like, I just think those boxes kind of.
6.
Boy, you just shredded a whole lot of trees there.
Yeah.
And the autocannon.
Man.
Oh,
Wow. Wow, yeah, you're...
So how do you kill him? I have to get rid of all the damage?
So,
I mean, or,
a mech is killed when either the head is killed, is destroyed, or the center torso.
oh, okay, good. Then I'm getting on the center. Oh, you.
Yeah. There are other ways, again, in the full game that mechs can die.
But
in the main one, or in the beginner game,
Oh,
it's-
and I see these arrows right here point to where when this is destroyed, it tells you exactly
Exactly.
where so you're always kind of heading towards that center torso.
Yep.
So that was Battletech. Now, obviously, super complex game. I had fun playing it, but I already kind of gave you my thoughts on it. It's not a game I'd ever seek out, but I would absolutely say yes if somebody said, hey, here's my set, let's play. Now, before we move on to our next actual demo that I want to show you, I wanted to just take a second to kind of spotlight a game that I wanted to go see get demoed. I wanted to maybe participate in a demo, and I just didn't make it. This is Dark Domains. Now, this is a game that I believe came off of Kickstarter. I believe it was on Kickstarter last year, fulfilled this year. It is a 2 to 5 player game where the players are actually, I believe it's a worker placement game, but the twist is that the players are actually the bad guys. And so you're kind of building the city up, but you're actually trying to corrupt it, and you're in the thralls of a necromancer is the way the game puts it. And at some point in the game, you know, you kind of turn a corner, I believe, and now it becomes clear what your deal is and the fact that you're evil. And so then the Tauren company sends heroes to try to stop you. And how this all plays out in the game, I'm really interested to see, and I really like the way the game looks. It sounds cool. You know, I kept seeing people play it at Origins, and I've heard a couple of different people recommend it. My buddy tried to talk me repeatedly into buying it, and I just didn't pull the trigger. I actually made it out of Origins without buying a single game, so I was pretty happy with myself. But Dark Domains is one that hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on at some point in the near future. But I just wanted to kind of bring it up because I was hoping to have video for you of it and just didn't quite get there. Now, the next game I do have video for you is a demo of Refuge, Terror from the Deep. Now, this is a follow-up to a previous Refuge game where you were running from zombies. This time you're trying to escape a Kraken. It is a race-style game where you're racing across the board, and the Kraken is actually between you and the exit, and you got to kind of dodge his tentacles, dodge his head, his jaw, all this stuff. Meanwhile, you're either playing cooperatively or competitively or even solo, and all these different game modes in there. It has some really cool components because it's underwater. You'll see how the minis get to have some really cool action poses and everything. So let's get right down. This is about another 5-minute demo for you. We'll get right to the video and let you see.
All right, so we're here with the Refuge Terror from the Deep. All right, so what do we got going on here?
Refuge Terror from the Deep. You are steampunk divers escaping from this enormous Kraken. It's a 2 to 6 player competitive race game. The first diver to escape to the submarine wins the game. Okay. It's a standalone sequel to our 2016 release, The Refuge, A Race for Survival, in which you're racing to the last safe space in the zombie apocalypse. New in Terror from the Deep is a 1 to 4 player solo and cooperative adventure game. It's kind of like all the magic of a monster movie packed into 30 minutes, and that's what we have set up on this board here. So you have 3 storyline-based objectives. So in this example game, we're going to wound the Kraken, we're going to conduct a biology experiment, and finally we're going to defeat the Kraken. But these change every time you play. And so those are the big cinematic moments in your story. So maybe in a different game, your storyline is going to involve uncovering a secret shipwreck or getting devoured by the Kraken and cutting your way out from the inside.
Okay, all right. And so with this, you say it's cooperative, but it's also got a competitive mode?
Correct. So 2 to 6 player competitive race or 1 to 4 player cooperative.
Okay.
Both of them use the same sets of these amazing steampunk divers,
Okay.
where you are racing to the finish, and every diver comes with their own set of unique character abilities in this really cool kind of comic book panel action style. So that's that character you just showed. So depending on what divers you bring into your dive, you're going to have a very different experience. So Satoshi, who we just highlighted, is very fast and maneuverable, whereas like someone like Sophie Saint Laurent over here places these research camera tokens out on the board. She's the marine biologist character, and she's going to be observing these tentacles move and using her cameras to pick up extra actions as she watches the tentacles.
Okay.
So you get really dramatic gameplay shifts depending on what divers are in play, what the Kraken is doing, how the objectives are flopped out, and of course, the incredibly deadly Kraken AI.
Okay. So how's that work?
The top part of the card moves the Kraken's head. So let's put this kind of in frame together. So the top here would move this 2 over. The bottom part moves the 3 columns of tentacles in front of the head. So if you look at this, this would move down 2. This would spawn a new tentacle, and then this would move down 2. And this is where the tentacles are going to come. They're going to try to drag you under. You're going to need to defend yourself. The Kraken also is going to move back and forth, maybe push some divers around.
Okay.
And of course, there's always the threat of being devoured.
Sure. That sounds fantastic. And this is on Kickstarter right now?
Yes, we are already funded. We're at over 50K after a little over a week. We're live until June 27th, and we're unlocking new stretch goals every day.
And is the helmet included with the game?
The helmet is not included, but we did do a lot of research into antique diving equipment and collaged like hundreds and hundreds of photos to send over to our concept artists when we were building out this game.
These are fantastic.
Yeah, because it's underwater, we can get these really dynamic action poses.
Okay, well, great. So be sure to get over on Kickstarter while this is still up. June 21st, you said?
Ends June 27th.
June 27th. All right, so you still got some time.
So that was Refuge, Terror from the Deep. A pretty cool looking game. Got some interesting concepts as far as how it works. The fact that it's got cooperative, competitive, and solo mode is definitely got some green lights flashing for me. Makes me want to get a hold of it. The final game that I've got for you is another demo that we did. This is going to be about 20 minutes. It's a full 2 rounds of the latest expansion for Root. So you're going to see the marquee, you're going to see the Eyrie, which obviously from the base game. We're playing on a new map. I forget what the map's called exactly, but it's got a lake in the middle of it. And we have both of the new expansion factions. The moles, I think, and then the crows. I can't remember the exact names. You'll see it in the video here. And I gotta say, that bird faction is ruthless, brutal. I didn't even know what hit me when it happened in the game. It's very intriguing faction. I definitely want to get my hands on this expansion. It looks really cool. I like the components. I like the new mechanisms in the game. So let's get... I mean, Root's just such a fantastic game. What else do you need to say? Let's get to the video, and I'll show you how this expansion plays.
Sure. Now, I've never played with this faction before, though, so...
That is okay.
So first song, I place 1 warrior.
Place 1 warrior in the burrow.
In the burrow?
In the burrow.
Okay. All right. And then... So then,
but now you get 2 actions.
Move on to daylight, so I can build, which would be any of these things, using
Using cards in your hand.
Right, matching a clearing.
You have to roll the clearing.
Right.
So if you have a mouse card, you can build a building by spending it. You may also want to hold on to some of your cards for swaying ministers at the end of your turn.
And the advantage of the Citadel or the markets is...
you get extra warriors in the burrow per turn, and markets you get extra cards at the end of your turn.
Right, okay.
They will also allow you to craft stuff at the end of your turn.
I'll tell you what, I'll go in and spend a bird card to craft. So the bird's wild, so you can use the bird card for anything. To craft one of these buildings.
Right there. Great, so now you get one additional action. I might recommend you recruit.
Hey, did you do that?
No, I did my build action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He spent it for soup instead of crafting.
I'm fine.
And so I guess I'll move this guy here.
So it's an area control game.
Okay. So that's your two actions. Now, do you have cards in your hand to reveal to sway a minister?
And remind me, how do I sway the minister again?
You need to be in that. So depending on what cards you have, you would need to have a mouse or any number of foxes.
Yes, I do have.
So you will have to reveal them for soup.
Okay, so reveal
them to us. Reveal them to us. You have one fox. May I ask what your other one is?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah.
2 foxes. That's perfect. You are in 2 fox clearings, which means you can sway a squire.
Okay, it doesn't matter that I don't roll this one.
It does not.
Okay, so I can sway the squire. All right, so where I.
So that kind of just goes here. You'll get a crown on that piece.
Okay.
You'll get a victory point.
Which reveals a victory point. Okay.
For that action, and now during your next turn, you may do that additional action.
I see.
So you may
do that. Okay. All right.
These go back to your hands, and you get and you draw a card at the end of your turn.
Okay.
And that's how you play the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going to skip this because you have cards in hand. So you have 1 or 2 cards in the hand. I usually suggest adding 1 at the start of your first turn, and you usually want it to kind of match this.
Okay.
So you have wild cards. You probably want to do this one first because it's the most useless to you. And you probably want to put in there for
And that would give me 1 person?
So yeah, now we're going to resolve the decree. So you're going to recruit anywhere you have a roost. You'll move anywhere.
Okay.
From a matching clearing. You probably want to move into one of these.
Yeah.
So you can build there. And you probably want to move 2 or 3 warriors.
I think I'm going to do this.
Okay. Now we are skipping your battle because you don't have a garden there, and now you're going to build. And you'll place a roost in that building slot. And now we move on to your evening.
If I score 1 point.
1 point. And you get to draw a card. But just know, if a despot is if you remove cardboard, which is like a cat building or a token, you will get additional victory points for your removal. Alright. Corvus.
So I can't craft, right?
Correct. You do not have any plot tokens out right now.
I can't flip.
You can't flip. So you're definitely going to recruit this turn.
Okay.
So you have to spend a card to do so. I suggest not spending a mouse card until you get 1 less warrior because you can't place any warrior. So that means you're probably going to spend this one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So you spend it for suits and you recruit 1 in everybody. Each.
Oh, wow.
Oh, see, I thought it was where.
Okay. Does
Oh.
it make sense because you can fly?
No, that's okay.
Funny thing is, the Corvus actually walking.
Yeah.
All right, so then the daylight I get to do.
You get up to 3 actions.
actions.
We want you plotting.
Yeah, I like the idea of
So,
plotting.
in order to plot, you will need to spend an increasing number of warriors to do so.
So I'm basically switching the warrior with one of these, right? I'm saying under the plotting.
Your first plot, you spent 1 warrior. For your second plot for your turn, you have to spend it.
2. So again, it's getting rid of 1, putting something there.
Yes. Or the way you can do it
That was not right.
is move one of them here, move one of them into the same clearing, plot once, exert to plot twice. Then you get 2 plots this time.
I'll do that then. So, move, you said, right?
So that's 1 movement. This is a second movement, or you could move them on here.
No, I want to stay there.
You want to stay here?
Yeah,
Okay. So now we're going to do 1 plot here. You can place whatever you want here. I would kind of recommend it like this one or that one. This one's better if there's like more pieces.
They're plotting. That's plotting.
They're plotting against
So
us.
that's why we're going
No,
to
they're
plot.
plotting the plotting.
I got it.
Oh, they are
So
plotting
this
the plotting,
one here,
yeah.
though?
In fact, they're plotting the plotting
Okay,
against
then
us.
try to show to anybody.
Yep.
And then now we're going to insert. So if you take an action, daily action, we're going to skip you drawing cards.
Yep.
It should be mostly worth it.
Oh, so I get it. Okay, alright, I'm following you.
Okay. And just so everyone's aware, so we're going to draw stuff. So everyone's aware, you can spend a card to try exposing the plot. You have to reveal the matching card. You have to say what you think it is. If it's correct, it's removed. If not, it tells you no, it takes the card. The other thing is embedded agents. If you try to attack him, because it's unflipped, he will get 1 additional hit for defense. And that should be pretty much it.
Yeah.
Remember we exerted
Yeah,
some
so
locating
then
cards.
I discarded 5, and I already get 2, so okay.
Okay. Cat turn.
Cat turn.
So you're mostly trying to put yourself in a position where you can build and probably protect your buildings.
Okay.
So that means we're probably going to want to, we're definitely going to want to build this turn, we're definitely going to want to move this turn, and then maybe we could recruit or take another movement,
Okay.
or you could bow somewhere if you're feeling it. So the first thing we do, during your first time, you place 1 wood at your summit.
Okay.
That is what you use to build buildings.
Gotcha.
Second one, craft using workshops. If you have something that costs 1 money for its crafting cost, you could craft it.
Nope.
Okay, that is fine. So now we take up to 3 actions.
Okay.
So you probably will want to build something. You can do that. You can do any of your actions at any point during your turn. So this would be a good place to build maybe a sawmill or another recruiter if you want. You do rule here because the building counts toward rule. So you could build something here.
I mean, let's build another sawmill. Get
Okay.
more materials.
Yeah, because that's what you use when you build.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, and you get 1 immediate points.
Trying to remember my Warcraft days.
And then perhaps you could
Warcraft 3, no more.
maybe you could recruit here and march. Then you get a card. If you get a bird card, you can take an extra action this turn.
Okay, so I can just put down the.
Yep, you recruit 1 on every recruiter, so if you had multiple on the board, you get 1
Okay.
each. And I'm suggesting you march, so you take this and you move to a clearing to any one of these.
Take the mold.
So now you rule that clearing.
You get
Right,
a
that's
card,
Yeah.
and you can march again, and you can move from anywhere. So, because for march you get 2 moves, so that was 1, and you get 1 more.
So I'm kind of safe here because I have 2 buildings that it would be hard for somebody, because you said buildings count towards owning the area, right? Do I have to be in it?
You don't have to be in it to rule necessarily, but if the moles wanted to like charge the keep like this, they
okay.
could.
Okay,
And if there's nobody there, then
They
the
can
buildings are
easily
completely
destroy
defenseless.
gotcha. Okay,
So you definitely want at least 1 down there, maybe more later.
okay.
And I'm right nearby.
I think right now you probably want to move some of your cats together,
Yeah,
so you can
I'm just
protect any
trying to
future
think
movements.
Like that.
Well, there where the plotting happened.
Just be wary
We're
that
just
plot
friendly
could work
birds.
against you.
Just really bad.
So you're sure you want to rather move out of that.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know where.
That's probably
So I thought I had to like be in control to move out of a spot though. So I could.
You can move to or from anywhere you want.
Okay.
Where you
So you ruled here because you're the only one there. So you can
Gotcha.
move.
Okay.
And so that's your 3 actions for the turn. If you have another bird card, you can spend it to take an additional action, or you can just wait.
Would it make sense to battle here? And get rid of one stinky mole?
If perhaps moles will have a bit of a harder time.
The expansion.
Moles have a bit of a harder time swaying if they're
This
not
is the new
in
expansion from the
enough clearings.
Uh-huh.
But there's no immediate threats to affect that one right now.
Okay.
So if you want to end your turn, you'll just draw a card. You can get more card draw by building these recruiters. And then maybe for your next turn, you recon field hospitals, because that's kind of what you can spend your cards on.
All right, so back to me.
Yeah.
So, and the way I get these guys out of the burrow is by moving into a spot with a tunnel. Okay. All right.
You can also dig.
And create a new tunnel. Okay.
Yeah. So at the start of your burst song, you get 2 warriors. You get 1 plus
that,
this.
okay. So those 2 there. All right, then let's.
If you want
It's a
to go for
cascading
points,
Say,
if you want to go for points, you can move from here to here and initiate a battle here, and this could get you a point.
okay, or and if I. Okay.
You can't build in there anyway, so you could build. You could build.
Actually, I'm going to build there first. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to build because I got.
Just keep in mind, you really want to protect your buildings because of your price of it.
Okay.
So you can build there, but maybe move someone there.
So if I discard this and build a market there,
Sure.
and then for my other one, I need to spend. If I wanted to dig here, I need to spend a fox. So, yeah, spend another fox. Having 2 tunnels right next to each other is probably not the best idea, but I'll dig and do these
A
guys
lot of people
automatically
do
move
it.
in.
A lot of people do it.
Is moving them separate, or they move in because it does?
These are the ones that are digging.
Okay, so they move in because
So they're in there.
Okay, and that's my 2 actions.
And so now, if you want to take a minister action,
Oh, initiate a battle. I'll initiate a battle right here.
okay?
Or no, or should I do it? I'll do it here actually, because I actually have less. Yeah, I'll do it there.
So the way battling works, everybody, is the attacker rolls both these dice and usually takes the higher roll. The number is for the maximum amount of hits they can do. The amount of hits that they do. Maximum amount of hits they do is based on how many warriors are in that clearing. So you can do a max of 3 if he rolls a 3.
So 3.
And cats can only do a maximum of 1, so they actually remove 1 of those. Now, if you have a mouse card, you could field hospital this cat to return it to your keeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I should have asked if you had a mouse ambush card.
I did have a mouse ambush
Oh,
card.
let's do it. 'Cause, yeah, you didn't know how that worked. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, open those back for a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dice still have to be rolled.
All right, so that's still the roll that happened.
But if you play the mouse ambush card,
Yeah, let's do that.
you deal 2 immediate hits to the moles.
Ah! And so now it's completely, we're both wiped out. Except you're going to
Yep.
field hospital yours. Do you have another
Now
mouse
you
card?
do 1
I
and
do have
1.
another mouse card.
So then he goes.
That goes right there.
That did not work out very well for me. And now I've got to. Can they destroy my tunnels too?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
That does not trigger price of failure anymore, but it still gets them points.
Okay. Well, so thanks a lot, Squire. And
That is why he's just a squire.
Yeah, exactly.
Battle.
So now I could.
You battle to remove warriors first, and then you can remove pieces of card.
Okay, and I would need 2 cards to get another one of these guys, right? Is how that works, or
But you only have
I
1
only have
if I
1, so I
remember.
can't do it. Yep.
But you get 2 cards because you got them marked.
Yep. All right. Okay. And okay.
All right.
My
Let's
turn.
go, Yuri.
I'm going to just recruit more dudes.
Sure.
I'm only going to play 1.
So are those crafted cards? Okay.
No, those go into his decree,
Okay.
and what matters is their suit.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, like, playing all bird cards makes it easy for him to complete it because he can do it anywhere. But if he ever fails, he loses victory points for every bird card in the game.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to recruit 2 dudes here.
You can also recruit a bird here.
Oh yeah, I can do it. So I can do it anywhere, right?
Anywhere with a roost.
And then I can move. And I
Move
can
probably to where you want to build a roost.
I can just go here.
Yes, you can.
I don't have to battle, and I can just
correct.
build a roost because I already own it because I win ties. And then I get
And
2
then you
points
get-
and draw cards.
You
Draw
get
2
2
cards.
points
Nicely
and
done.
an extra card. One thing to know, we'll try, like I said, we'll try not to make you go into turmoil, but if you went into turmoil, you would lose a victory point for every bird
Yeah.
card you integrate. Okay, Corvus, you have the ability to flip 2 plots.
Yeah.
Do you want to craft first?
If I craft, I give up.
If you have something. It looks like you
No,
don't. That's okay.
Now I get a flip.
Yep, you can flip them in any order you want, so you'll score victory points per flip. So
So I'm gonna flip that one.
Okay. So you get a point for the flip, and all enemy pieces are removed from this clearing.
Oh,
This cat could be field hospitaled if
That's
you wish.
kinda
All
brutal.
of these birds and
Damn.
slips.
So don't I get victory point for destroying his root? Yeah.
Yes, you do.
how did that?
And then this is a one-time
That
use. so it goes
plot
away.
piece he had in
I
there.
had a bomb sitting there.
Okay. So
And
y'all are
then you can also
terrorists.
flip this. You can also flip
Freedom
this.
fighters.
Yeah.
Since we did that in that order,
Yeah.
the bomb goes away before this is flipped, so you only get 1 victory point.
Oh, well, it's a learning.
But you exploded a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hey, we're friendly.
So,
All right.
So if there was a warrior in there when it was flipped, you would take a random card from each player that has presence there. But since you don't, you'll just get an extra card at the end of each turn. Well, you would anyway, as long as it's there.
So now I can do my recruit though.
Yes.
Turn spend any card to place a warrior, so it would be in all the bunny regions or mouse regions, right? If I did
Yes.
that. Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, you still can't place the key token, but you probably still want to recruit this turn. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do it. So mouse regions.
So you get 1 and 1
One.
and 1.
Watch out now, I'm in both of your
wow,
main
this
areas.
guy's just
Yeah.
spread out.
So now,
So you still want to probably be able to plot, and you could take a battle action to do free hits on these pieces.
oh yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Okay, we'll start with that.
Okay.
So you're gonna roll the dice. You get a free hit on undefended buildings. So if you roll anything that's a 1 or higher, you'll remove both of them.
Roll 2 zeros. Oh, almost.
Kill stealer.
Oh, man.
So you get 2 points and
Yeah.
almost a price of failure.
Yeah, so what is the price of failure? Whenever any number of your buildings are removed, return the sway administrator of highest rank, meaning my squire who screwed everything up, to your minister stack. Remove his crown from the game and discard the random. Okay.
And you must discard a card from the
Oh,
pieces
random.
at random.
Let's go with that.
Absolute kill stealer.
So okay.
Okay. That
Now
was
you
brutal.
probably want to move and plot.
Oh, I want to move?
You want to take a move and plot.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to block. I like that.
But you should move. You should probably move first.
Okay. All right.
Just wherever you want to plot. It's probably maybe there, maybe there.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
You can't flip a plot if you don't have a warrior there. That's just so you need to have one
Oh,
warrior.
okay.
Now, how do we get rid of his plots?
You fight them.
Okay.
Same way we do buildings.
Yeah, I think that'll be a priority from now on.
And
Yeah,
now
yeah.
you can plot there.
Oh.
Okay, so when you move into an area with a warrior, that's when he can, if he moves somewhere with his own warrior, he can plot.
He could plot if the warrior wasn't there, but he has to keep in mind it'll be undefended and it can't be flipped.
Gotcha.
So can, but probably should.
Right.
Alright.
Oh, because you have to remove a warrior.
And now you can draw 2 cards at the end of your turn if you don't wish to observe, which you probably won't.
No, I want to get 2 cards.
So there you go. That's our coverage of Origins 2019. I will probably be going to a different con next year, a different big con, with maybe a couple little cons in between. And I'll be sure to bring video from all those for you as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. I hope the timestamps were helpful for you as far as that went. Be sure to check out my other videos. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me a subscribe, click the bell. Give this video a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Find me over on Twitter at boredoffline. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.